Today's title immediately sparks curiosity. 85-year-old woman looks 60. Her secret, just castor oil and baking soda. At first glance it sounds unbelievable, almost too simple to be true. But this story isn't just about appearance. It's about curiosity, traditional remedies, and the human desire to age gracefully. Rather than promising miracles, this topic invites us to explore how small, consistent habits and natural ingredients, often overlooked, have been part of self-care traditions for generations. It challenges us to rethink what we consider secrets to healthy aging and whether simplicity sometimes holds unexpected value. Human curiosity is one of the strongest forces shaping our choices, beliefs and behaviors, especially when it comes to health, beauty and aging. The moment we hear a title like 85-year-old woman looks 60, her secret, just castor oil and baking soda, our minds naturally pause. We ask ourselves, is this possible? Could something so simple really make such a difference? What don't we know that this person does? This instinctive questioning is not accidental. It is deeply rooted in how humans process information and seek hope. Curiosity thrives on contrast and surprise. An 85-year-old woman looking decades younger defies our everyday expectations about aging. Society has conditioned us to associate age with decline, wrinkles, reduced energy, and dependence on complex medical or cosmetic interventions. When a story contradicts this narrative, it captures attention immediately. Our brains are wired to notice anomalies because they signal the possibility of learning something new or valuable. In this case, the anomaly is not only the woman's youthful appearance, but also the simplicity of her alleged secret. Another reason curiosity is so powerful in such stories is accessibility. Castor oil and baking soda are not exotic ingredients locked away in laboratories or luxury spas. They are familiar, inexpensive, and often already present in our homes. When people hear that everyday items might be linked to extraordinary results, curiosity intensifies. The question becomes personal. If she can do it, could I? This sense of personal relevance is what transforms mild interest into deep engagement. Curiosity also reflects a growing skepticism toward complexity. In a world saturated with anti-aging creams, invasive procedures, and expensive treatments, many people feel overwhelmed and disillusioned. Promises are everywhere, yet results often fall short. As a result, curiosity shifts toward alternatives that seem more natural, less commercialized, and more authentic. Stories like this resonate because they appear to bypass corporate influence and return to something simpler and more human, knowledge passed down through experience rather than advertising. Importantly, curiosity is not just about wanting answers, it is about seeking control. Aging is one of the few experiences every human shares, yet it often feels uncontrollable. We cannot stop time, but we constantly look for ways to slow its visible effects. When curiosity is sparked by such a story, it reflects a deeper emotional need, the desire to reclaim agency over our bodies and our futures. Even if the claim sounds exaggerated, the curiosity it generates is rooted in hope, the hope that aging does not have to mean surrender. Curiosity also opens the door to dialogue between generations. Stories involving elderly individuals who defy expectations often encourage younger people to listen more closely to older voices. In many cultures, traditional wisdom has been sidelined in favor of modern science and technology. Yet curiosity invites us to reconsider this imbalance. It asks us to reflect on whether some valuable insights have been overlooked simply because they are old, simple, or unbranded. At the same time, healthy curiosity must be paired with discernment. Not every fascinating story is a proven fact, and not every natural remedy is safe or effective for everyone. However, curiosity itself is not the problem, it is the starting point. It motivates research, conversation, and critical thinking. Without curiosity, we accept assumptions without question. With it, we explore possibilities while learning to separate inspiration from blind imitation. Ultimately, the power of curiosity lies in its ability to move us from passive acceptance to active inquiry. A title like this does more than promise youth. It invites us to ask better questions about aging, wellness, and simplicity. Whether or not the exact claim holds true, the curiosity it sparks can lead to more mindful choices, deeper learning, and a renewed interest in understanding our bodies rather than fearing time. And in that sense, curiosity itself may be one of the most powerful tools we have for aging gracefully. Traditional wisdom refers to knowledge that has been passed down through generations, often through observation, experience, and daily practice rather than formal scientific study. Long before modern laboratories, clinical trials, and commercial skincare industries existed, people relied on nature and simple household ingredients to care for their bodies, skin, and overall well-being. The mention of castor oil and baking soda in this story immediately connects us to that long history of traditional self-care practices. Castor oil, for example, has been used for thousands of years across different cultures. Ancient Egyptians valued it for skin care and hair nourishment, while traditional systems in Asia and the Middle East used it for massage, cleansing, and general wellness. Baking soda, similarly, has a long-standing role beyond cooking, used historically for cleaning, deodorizing, and personal hygiene. These ingredients were not viewed as miracle cures, but as reliable tools woven into everyday life. Their value came from familiarity, availability, and consistent use over time. What makes traditional wisdom especially compelling today is its contrast with modern excess. In the current age, skincare and anti-aging are often associated with complicated routines, chemical formulations, and high costs. Traditional practices remind us that earlier generations achieved balance with far fewer resources. This does not mean they had all the answers, but it does suggest that simplicity and attentiveness to the body played a significant role in their approach to aging and health. Another important aspect of traditional wisdom is its holistic perspective. Rather than isolating one symptom or one wrinkle, traditional practices often considered the whole person: skin, diet, lifestyle, environment, and emotional state. Castor oil or baking soda were rarely used in isolation. They were part of broader routines that included rest, moderation, physical activity, and patience. This holistic mindset is often missing in quick-fix modern solutions, yet it may be one of the reasons traditional approaches continue to inspire curiosity and respect. Traditional wisdom also emphasizes consistency over intensity. Instead of dramatic interventions, people relied on small, repeated actions performed over years or even decades. A simple oil applied regularly, a gentle cleansing habit, or a mindful daily routine could quietly support long-term skin health. When we hear about an elderly person maintaining a youthful appearance, it often reflects not a single secret, but a lifetime of steady, uncomplicated care. Traditional wisdom teaches us that results are built slowly, not rushed. Cultural memory plays a powerful role here as well. Many people recall grandparents or elders who aged gracefully without access to modern cosmetics or procedures. Their routines were simple, their tools modest, yet their skin and posture often reflected resilience. Stories like the one in this title reconnect us to those memories, reinforcing the idea that aging well is not a new obsession, it is an ancient human concern, addressed differently in every era. However, respecting traditional wisdom does not mean rejecting modern knowledge. Instead, it invites balance. Some traditional practices are supported by modern research, while others may be less effective or unsuitable for certain individuals. The true value of traditional wisdom lies not in blind acceptance, but in its philosophy: observe the body, respect natural processes, and avoid unnecessary excess. It encourages us to ask not only what people used, but how and why they used it. In today's fast-paced world, traditional wisdom offers something rare: patience. It reminds us that aging is not an enemy to fight aggressively, but a process to navigate thoughtfully. Castor oil and baking soda, whether effective or not in every claim, symbolize a larger idea, that care does not have to be complicated to be meaningful. By revisiting traditional knowledge with an open but critical mind, we gain perspective, humility, and a deeper appreciation for the quiet practices that have supported human well-being for generations. In this way, traditional wisdom is not about turning back time. It is about understanding it, respecting it, and learning how simplicity, consistency, and care have always played a role in how we age. In today's world, complexity is often mistaken for effectiveness. When it comes to beauty, health, and aging, people are frequently led to believe that the more products they use, the more steps they follow, and the more advanced the technology, the better the results will be. Yet stories like 85-year-old woman looks 60. Her secret, just castor oil and baking soda, challenge this assumption by highlighting a different principle. Consistency matters far more than complexity. Consistency is the quiet discipline of doing simple things regularly over long periods of time. Unlike complex routines that promise fast results, consistent habits work slowly and subtly, shaping outcomes over years rather than days. Aging, by nature, is a long-term process, and it responds best to long-term care. An individual who applies a simple remedy daily for decades may see more lasting benefits than someone who constantly switches between the latest trending products. One reason complexity often fails is inconsistency. Complicated skincare routines can be difficult to maintain. When a regimen includes many steps, expensive products, or strict schedules, people tend to abandon it after a short time. Missed days turn into missed weeks, and eventually the routine disappears altogether. Simplicity, on the other hand, encourages commitment. A basic habit is easier to remember, easier to repeat, and easier to sustain, even as life becomes busy or circumstances change. Consistency also allows the body and skin to adapt naturally. Skin responds gradually to care, and sudden changes can sometimes cause irritation, stress, or imbalance. Repeated use of a simple ingredient over time gives the body a chance to adjust and respond without being overwhelmed. While this does not guarantee dramatic transformations, it supports stability, which is often more important for long-term skin health than short-lived improvements. Another key element of consistency is trust in the process. Many modern solutions appeal to impatience, promising visible results in days or weeks. When those results do not meet expectations, people quickly move on to something new. This constant switching disrupts progress and reinforces frustration. Consistent habits require patience and belief that small efforts accumulate. Over years, these small actions can create noticeable differences in how skin ages and how the body maintains itself. Consistency also extends beyond what we apply to our skin. It reflects a broader lifestyle approach: regular sleep, balanced nutrition, daily movement, and emotional stability. An 85-year-old who looks younger than expected likely did not rely on a single product alone. Instead, she may have lived a life shaped by routine, moderation, and attentiveness. Simple skincare habits, when paired with consistent living patterns, can reinforce each other and support overall well-being. Importantly, consistency empowers individuals. Complex routines often create dependency on products, professionals, or constant guidance. Simple, repeatable habits give people a sense of control and independence. Knowing that you can care for yourself with minimal tools builds confidence and reduces anxiety around aging. This psychological benefit can be just as impactful as any physical result, as stress itself plays a role in how we age. However, consistency does not mean rigidity. It does not require following a habit blindly without listening to the body. True consistency includes awareness, adjusting gently when needed, while maintaining the core routine. This flexible discipline is what allows simple habits to last a lifetime rather than becoming burdensome. In a culture that celebrates instant results and complicated solutions, the idea of consistency over complexity can feel almost radical. Yet it aligns more closely with how the human body actually works. Aging is gradual, and so is care. Stories that highlight simple routines practiced consistently remind us that progress does not always come from doing more. It often comes from doing less, better, and longer. Ultimately, the lesson of consistency over complexity is not about rejecting innovation, but about redefining effectiveness. The most powerful habits are often the least impressive on the surface. They do not trend, they do not shock, and they do not promise miracles. Instead, they quietly shape outcomes over time. And in the context of aging gracefully, that quiet consistency may be the most valuable secret of all. When discussing youthful appearance and graceful aging, it is easy to focus solely on external solutions, what we apply to our skin, what products we buy, or what routines we follow. However, one of the most powerful yet underestimated factors is mindset and lifestyle. How a person thinks, lives, and responds to life's challenges often leaves a deeper and more lasting imprint on their appearance than any single remedy ever could. Mindset shapes the way we experience aging. People who view aging as a natural and meaningful stage of life tend to approach it with acceptance, rather than fear. This attitude reduces chronic stress, which is known to accelerate visible aging. Constant worry, dissatisfaction, and self-criticism can manifest physically through tension, fatigue, and premature lines. In contrast, a calm and positive outlook promotes relaxation, better sleep, and emotional balance, all of which support healthier-looking skin. Lifestyle choices translate mindset into action. Daily habits such as sleep patterns, movement, and nutrition influence how the body repairs and renews itself. Someone who prioritizes rest allows the skin time to regenerate. Regular physical activity improves circulation, delivering oxygen and nutrients that contribute to a natural glow. Balanced, mindful eating supports the body from within, reinforcing external care. These habits, practiced over decades, quietly shape how a person ages. Another crucial element of mindset is gratitude and contentment. Individuals who find joy in small things and maintain emotional stability often carry themselves differently. Their posture, expressions, and energy project vitality. Youthfulness is not only about smooth skin, it is also about how a person moves, smiles, and engages with the world. A positive inner state often reflects outwardly, creating an impression of youth that goes beyond physical appearance. Lifestyle also includes how one manages stress and relationships. Life inevitably brings difficulties, but the way we respond to them matters. People who cultivate patience, forgiveness, and resilience reduce the emotional strain that can weigh heavily on both mind and body. Chronic stress hormones can affect skin health, sleep quality, and overall vitality. A lifestyle that values peace over constant pressure supports long-term well-being and, by extension, a more youthful appearance. Consistency in daily rhythm is another key factor. Irregular sleep, chaotic schedules, and constant stimulation can exhaust the body over time. Many older individuals who age well maintain simple routines, waking, eating, and resting at regular times. This rhythm supports the body's natural cycles and promotes balance. Such structure may seem ordinary, but its cumulative effect over decades is profound. Mindset also influences how people care for themselves. Those who respect their bodies tend to treat them gently and attentively. Instead of aggressively trying to fix signs of aging, they focus on nurturing overall health. This approach reduces the likelihood of overuse, irritation, or harm caused by extreme interventions. Self-respect encourages sustainable care rather than desperate measures. Social engagement plays an important role as well. Staying connected with family, friends, and community keeps the mind active and the spirit engaged. Laughter, conversation, and shared experiences stimulate emotional well-being and mental sharpness. Isolation, on the other hand, can accelerate decline. A socially rich lifestyle often contributes to a more vibrant and youthful presence. It is also important to recognize that mindset and lifestyle develop over time. They are not quick adjustments but lifelong patterns. An 85-year-old who appears youthful likely cultivated these habits gradually, learning to manage emotions, maintain balance, and live with intention. Her appearance may be the visible result of decades of inner alignment rather than a sudden discovery. Ultimately, mindset and lifestyle remind us that aging gracefully is not something we apply. It is something we live. External remedies may support the process, but they cannot replace the influence of daily choices and inner attitude. When we align how we think with how we live, we create conditions for resilience, vitality, and confidence at any age. In this context, youthfulness becomes less about erasing years and more about embodying life fully. A healthy mindset and balanced lifestyle do not promise eternal youth, but they offer something far more valuable. A sense of harmony that naturally reflects itself in how we look, move, and feel as time moves forward. Stories like 85-year-old woman looks 60, her secret, just castor oil and baking soda, are powerful because they inspire hope. They suggest that aging does not have to follow a rigid or discouraging path, and that simple, thoughtful care can make a difference over time. However, the true value of such stories lies not in copying them exactly, but in drawing inspiration from them. This distinction between inspiration and imitation is essential for making wise, safe, and meaningful choices. Inspiration encourages curiosity and reflection. It invites us to ask broader questions. What habits has this person maintained over her lifetime? How did she care for herself? What values shaped her daily routine? These questions lead us toward understanding principles rather than chasing formulas. Imitation, on the other hand, focuses narrowly on replicating actions without understanding context. When people imitate blindly, they risk disappointment, frustration, or even harm. Every individual is different. Genetics, environment, health history, and lifestyle all influence how a person ages and how their body responds to certain practices. What appears to work for one individual may not produce the same results for another. A remedy that suits one person's skin type or health condition could be ineffective or unsuitable for someone else. Inspiration respects these differences, while imitation often ignores them. Another danger of imitation is unrealistic expectation. When a story highlights dramatic results, people may expect quick or identical outcomes. When those results do not appear, they may feel discouraged or believe they have failed. Inspiration shifts the focus away from comparison and toward personal progress. It reminds us that the goal is not to look exactly like someone else, but to support our own well-being in a way that aligns with our unique needs and circumstances. Inspiration also promotes responsibility. Instead of assuming that a simple ingredient is automatically safe or effective, inspired individuals seek reliable information, test cautiously, and listen to their bodies. They may consult professionals, research potential effects, and adapt practices thoughtfully. This approach transforms inspiration into informed action rather than impulsive imitation. Stories of graceful aging can also inspire lifestyle reflection rather than product obsession. Instead of asking, "What did she use?" inspiration asks, "How did she live?" It draws attention to consistency, balance, mindset, and long-term habits. These elements are transferable across individuals, even if the exact methods differ. For example, the principle of simplicity can be applied without copying the specific ingredients mentioned in a story. Inspiration empowers choice rather than dependence. When people imitate trends, they often rely on external promises and quick solutions. Inspiration encourages self-awareness and experimentation within safe boundaries. It supports the idea that aging well is a personal journey, not a standardized recipe. This mindset fosters confidence and reduces the anxiety that often accompanies aging. Importantly, inspiration respects science as well as tradition. It does not reject modern knowledge, nor does it accept every traditional claim at face value. Instead, it invites dialogue between experience and evidence. An inspired individual may appreciate traditional wisdom while also understanding its limitations. This balanced approach helps prevent extremes, either total skepticism or blind belief. Inspiration also reframes success. Instead of measuring outcomes solely by appearance, it broadens the definition of aging well to include energy, mobility, emotional stability, and quality of life. A person who feels healthy, confident, and engaged may be aging successfully even if they do not appear decades younger. Inspiration reminds us that youthfulness is multidimensional. Ultimately, stories like this serve as mirrors rather than instructions. They reflect possibilities, not guarantees. Their purpose is to motivate us to care more thoughtfully for ourselves, not to convince us that one method holds all the answers. When we choose inspiration over imitation, we transform a sensational headline into a meaningful lesson. By approaching such stories with discernment and self-respect, we honor both individuality and wisdom. We learn to extract values rather than formulas, principles rather than promises. In doing so, we create our own path toward aging gracefully, one informed by inspiration, guided by awareness, and grounded in choices that truly serve our well-being over time.